Hi, I'm Nicola Madora, and I want to share with you about a feminine approach to spirituality and to life. I believe that we need it more than ever. Why? Because we face enormous destruction on our planet, both environmentally, on social justice issues are huge. We have a lot of problems and we have solutions, but as most people know, we're at the edge. I also see there's a lot of depression in our Western world, and I would say is a need for a way that truly can take care of and benefit life, all of it, whether it's our environment, whether it's social justice, or whether it's in your own life or with each other. The patriarchal way in religion and also in spirituality is all about transcendence, meaning we go above it, we rise above it and beyond it, and therefore we're not touched by life or by the issues or by the crying of a baby. That is a way of removing oneself from life, and often it is practiced in the olden days on a mountaintop where you get to see everything as a delusion. Now, this is one way, but it's just half the truth. And unfortunately, we've forgotten the other half of the truth. And without both, we're not whole. We cannot make changes in this world, and we cannot really survive anymore as a species or thrive if we don't bring in a more feminine approach. Now, what is that really? I don't want to get all esoteric on it, but to just put it very simple. It's a way of being intimate with the whole of life, of seeing the divine is in every single plant, person, or animal. It is in our utter naked humanness. It is found in our heartbrokenness. It is the divine is found on the streets in India, among the poorest of the poor, or it's found in the places where we least expect it. Where really our altar is the world, life itself as it is. Where form before was seen in a more male-dominated religion or spirituality, form has been seen as a delusion. And emptiness was the approach. And that, of course, led to a disconnect to our humanity and to the planet. So, and it led to a misuse of power, but also an uncaring and an unlovingness. So we do need the sword of detachment, of clarity, of clear seeing, of, not getting completely entangled in the dramas of life. But again, this is just one aspect. And if we now want to turn the ship on our planet, and maybe just in your own life, we need to bring forth the way of the feminine, a feminine approach, even to spirituality. And that means that form is as sacred as is non-form. A beggar is as holy as a saint on the mountaintop. Now, of course, the saint on the mountaintop emanates more clearly However, a beggar too can speak the language or can just speak from their heart, saying something that maybe you needed to hear in this moment, and it was literally the universe speaking to you through the beggar. So the voice of the divine comes through everything and anything. And it is the approach of the feminine is literally touching life, being in touch. It's like when I worked in Calcutta. We worked in the slums, and yes, we touched the lepers. Yes, we fed kids that were just they were just sticks and bones. And it was interesting because I looked in some of them into their eyes, and I felt like they're more alive than some of the people here in the West. So it's not to say that we should be poor and not have food. No. But it's to say that we can, when we're not so afraid anymore, when we drop a little bit more our fears of life itself, we can actually engage more, and we can experience a deep care, a deep connectedness, and a way of literally loving humanity, loving yourself, not from a mental space, but from a heart space. Loving each other not because you should or it's a better thing to do, but because you feel this intimately connectedness that only, that a healthy mother would feel with her baby. And that this feminine approach is really also about restoring life, feeding life, nourishing life. Yes, many women do that and exhaust themselves, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about honoring that femininity, that lovingness, that way of nourishing life as a gift, so that we begin to value more what feeds life rather than what destroys life. That we begin to value and put emphasis toward celebrating the engagement, the lovingness that some people express towards life, but that we also celebrate what is innately feminine, and that lives also in men. But for women it's easier accessible, except when they cut themselves off. It's the ability to nourish life. It's the ability to care and to go through anything. To even, the old story is like you can lift up a truck if you love a kid enough. Yes, you can. But you also can communicate with the animals, with the plants, with people on a level that's far deeper than we usually do. Because the divine is not separate from life. And the divine is actually human, meaning we are not separating anymore our humanness from divinity. Your anger has the divine, has a holiness in it. As long as we don't, kill somebody or trash somebody, but rather if we dare to sit in that fire of anger, we find in the anger itself is the force of life. And if we open to the fullness, there's not only the force of life, but there's power. There's truth that wants to be revealed. Even your mind has the seed of sacred in it. Even if you feel totally messed up, even in the deepest, darkest wound, there is the light. So the feminine means like you go in and down rather than out and up. And that takes some daring. That takes some guts, because we've practiced for centuries to go out, because we don't like what is here, or we have not learned how to, or we get lost in the mud. No, this is the sacred is found within and in the deep dark. That's where the Black Madonna is so revered by the people, and she's usually found in hidden places, in people's little homes, maybe, or she's not in the big churches necessarily. She's the black one who walks through the streets, the dark one who absorbs the suffering, and not only that, but she brings hope, and she goes to the people, all the people, not just a few, an elite. And therefore, this feminine approach is really not about ascending, transcending, or having a perfect world you create for yourself, but rather it's a world where you remember your light and you're able to see it and to bring it even into the darkest night. So I wish you courage. And if you'd like to connect with me and learn more, visit my website, nicolamadora.com, for retreats, for trainings, and therapy. Thank you.